Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. I am going to go through a step-by-step tutorial on how to make a Halloween wreath. I am going to use an 18-inch wreath wire frame. I actually bought this from Michael's. You can go smaller, you can go bigger. The bigger it is, the more material you need. I actually got this from Michael's. They are about, I want to say $5 each. I'm also going to need some pipe cleaners. These are pretty cheap, but you're going to want some pipe cleaners. I also bought some decorative mesh. I bought 2 rolls of these. They're about 30 feet long, and this is orange and black. I have a Halloween sign that I'm going to use in the middle of my wreath, so you can definitely choose any sign you want. Just make sure it's a little bit lightweight. As you can see, this one's really thin, and it's pretty lightweight, so it won't be too, it won't hold down your wreath too much. A few other things you're gonna need. You are gonna want to use, I like to use 4 different ribbon, wire ribbon. So I bought some coordinating ribbon for me to use. Definitely will stand out along the decorative mesh. I also bought some Halloween picks to use. I don't know if I'm going to use these, but I actually bought these at Michael's. They're kind of right when you walk in the Halloween section, and they're really kind of cute. So I'm going to use these. A few things I'm also going to need is either a glue gun or E6000 glue. Some cable mounts for like electric cable mounts. I don't have them with me right now, but I'll show them in a bit. Some wire cutters, scissors, and some zip ties. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut our ribbon. How many pieces of ribbon we cut is all gonna be dependent upon how big your wreath frame is. What I like to do is, depending on how many, I call them T-zones, these areas right here, however many there are, that's how many ribbon pieces I'll be cutting. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I will be cutting 9 pieces of ribbon each. So I have 4 spools. I will be cutting 9 pieces per spool. All right, so I actually bought these ribbons each from a different place. So this orange one I bought from Michael's. This one is 2.5 inches. These 2 I bought from Joann's. This is 2.5 inches. This is 1.5 inches. Always make sure your ribbon is wired. And this ribbon I actually bought online from this store called the Wreath Shop. Love their ribbon. They may or may not have any ribbon in stock. People start early on Halloween ribbon. So one thing I do want to kind of share with you and let you know is that Michael's may or may not have ribbon right now, Halloween ribbon, because everything is on back order. So you may have some time or a hard time getting some ribbon. You can always just use solid colors like orange and black to make your ribbon. So like I said, I'm going to make 9 pieces each, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm going to measure out 14 inches. So each ribbon piece is going to be about 14 inches. So I cut my ribbon. Make sure to use really good scissors. These are a little dirty. I use them quite a bit. They're fabric scissors. They're really sharp. You want to make sure you use really good scissors so that your ends don't fray. The next thing I'm going to want to do is fold my ribbon in half. So I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it over again with the ends going outwards like this. And then all I'm going to do is, starting just maybe 1.5 inches up, just go ahead and cut down so that you have a nice ending like this, a fishtail. So That is all I do. And we're gonna go ahead and do that. Again, we're gonna do nine pieces per spool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. Okay, so I am almost done. Like I said, I folded in half and I fold outside, I just folded it in half again, and making sure that the two outside pieces are facing outside so that it is strictly down the middle of the ribbon. I know earlier I said like 1.5 inches. I would actually just do 1 inch. And again, cut. There's your fishtail, dovetail, whatever you want to call it. And I have finished my ribbon cutting. So again, I have 9 pieces per ribbon that I'm using. So here they are. I'm going to put them to the side now, because the next thing we're going to do is prepare our wreath form. So we're going to have our wreath form, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pipe cleaner all around. So this is how I do it, because I want to make it nice and puffy and big. So on each T-zone area, the circle goes around 2 different spots. So I'm going to put one here and here. So here I'm just going to twist it around a few times, make sure it's sticking up. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the T-zone area beneath it. Crossbar, T-zone, whatever you want to call it. And I have 2. You can see here I have 2 pieces just popping up. I also like to put one in the middle on the middle outer frame. So I also put one just in between the outer 3. So it's the middle one on the, or second to the outer bar. If you can see it right here. It might move around, that's okay. Just keep on going. So I'm going to go all around and make sure to get each crossbar T-zone area. And one spot in between. I only go around maybe 2 or 3 times, because you're going to want to leave enough room to be able to hold down the mesh. So let's see here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off and be right back. Okay, I'm almost done here. Again, getting one in the middle of each crossbar on the outer middle circle, or middle end, and 2 on each crossbar. I'm sorry, 1 on each crossbar, but for each T area. And I am done. So it's going to look like a bunch of spider legs. But that's basically what's going to look like. So there's 27 altogether, because there's 9 crossbar areas and then 1 in between. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mesh, open that up, and start forming my wreath. So gotta get this open. All I'm gonna do, and you're gonna want to make sure like nothing's in your way, because the mesh can get a little, it can snag that stuff. But all I'm gonna do is kind of bunch it up in a corner here, and don't be afraid to, you're not gonna hurt it. It's really flexible, workable. So I'm just gonna get the end and fold it in half, and I'm gonna start in the outer area. Cut off this piece really quickly. Use my right hand. Okay. So I'm just going to, I just kind of folded it in half, and I'm just going to use my pipe cleaner to tie it and hold it in place. As you can see, it's staying. So the next thing I want to do, you want to make sure you have a ruler of some type, is I am going to get 10, I'm going to move it from the place where it's at on the pipe cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and just poof up 10 inches. And then I'm going to fold that over to the next pipe cleaner that's in the middle between the two crossbars. And I'm just going to go across and do that the whole way. So you'll begin to start seeing the wreath taking place. Then just 10 inches and go around the whole area. Okay, I'm still going around and doing every 10 inches, bunching my mesh and using my pipe cleaners to wrap around the mesh. So excuse my daughter, she's in the background. She always likes to make an entrance to my how-to videos, so just bear with me, please. As I am nearing the end, I am going to actually go back over. So as you see, I came back to my original spot, and I really want this wreath to be really full. So what I'm gonna do is actually keep on going. I'm gonna go over my outer layer again with the mesh. So same thing, every 10 inches, and then just go back around over my mesh, and I'm going to do the outer area one more time using my mesh. And then when I'm done with the outer area, I still have to go back and do the inner circle. So if you can see here, I still haven't done this area. I'm going to go back and do it after I do the outer area. So I'm just going to continue along, and you'll see at the end, as you're working your mesh, how nice and full it becomes. And it really actually makes a great statement piece on your door. It's very fun and festive. There's so many different colors you can choose. So I'm just going to keep on working around. In terms of mesh, I know that I saw some actual real cute mesh at Joann's. It's actually really cute. They have lots of different Halloween styles. So they didn't have a lot of ribbon to choose from, but they definitely had a lot of mesh. So I'm just gonna keep on going around, and I'll come back in when I'm about to do the outer circle. Okay, so I only have a few more outer areas to go, but I actually ran out of mesh, which is fine. I still have another roll, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my last 18-inch piece, and I don't have enough. Actually, I might have enough. Let me see. It's not going to be big enough, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut maybe about 3 inches after my, so I cut about 3 inches. So this is where I'm going to fold with the pipe cleaner. If you can see there, I'm going to fold right here, but what I'm going to do with this is just kind of tuck it under and fold at this spot. So you don't want to use, you just maybe want to tie it around twice because you still want to save room to be able to get your next roll. And do your starting point. So as I did in the beginning, I'm going to gather the ends of my mesh where I'm starting at, fold it over, and place it on that last piece I just used, and then continue on gathering at every 10 inches. So I'm going to keep on going around, and I'm almost getting to my starting point, in which I'm going to then move on to the inner circle and go around twice on the inner circle. As you can see, the wreath itself is beginning to get really, really big, and I'm running out of room in my camera to be able to show you exactly how everything is looking, which goes to show how big the wreath is going to be at the end. So I'm going to keep on going, and actually got some of the extra burlap I had from the other piece in there, so pull that out and start seeing how much left. Okay, so right here is my last piece. I'm actually not going to fold it. I'm not going to tie it on my starting point. What I am going to do is I'm actually gonna jump with my mesh, and do you see how I have that inner pipe cleaner? I'm actually going to jump and start working on the inner circle. So just gonna keep on going around, and now just use the inner circle. So the outer circle had 18 pipe cleaners. The inner circle only has 9, so it shouldn't take as long to do the inner circle. But remember, you're going to want to go around it twice. So I'm going to continue just going around it 2 times around. So it's going to get a little bit more difficult because you're going to be running out of space. But don't be afraid to move your mesh around because it's very flexible and workable. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on going around. And it might get onto your outer mesh, which is fine. Just kind of pull it apart. Be careful not to snag it. But again, you're not going to hurt the mesh, so just continue going around. Okay, so I came to my starting point, but I've only gone around 1 time. So I'm going to close it off and then just continue going around 1 more time on the outer or the inner circle. Like I said, you might start beginning to see something snag. Just pull it, you're not going to hurt it, and continue around. As I said earlier, this is going to really help give your wreath a nice, full, fluffy look. So have a few more pieces to go, and I am running out of room to be able to show you what it all looks like in one shot. So that just kind of goes to tell you or show you how big these wreaths are, and you'll see my inner circle begin to get smaller and smaller as I go along. So okay, so I am getting to my last pipe cleaner section. Again, I'm going to bunch it at the 10 inches and then cut an additional 3 inches I'll have probably a little bit left over of my mesh, and I'm just going to want to fold it in half and use my pipe cleaner to close it off. So there you go. So looks a little crazy, but you'll see this is how my wreath form is beginning to look. Now the next step you're going to want to do is start fluffing it out. So you're going to want to find your inner mesh and just kind of pull it out. So it's kind of like a little accordion almost. Find the inner pieces and then just pull it out. And you're going to start to begin to see your wreath really take shape. So go ahead and do each section and pull out your pieces so that your wreath starts to form even bigger. So go all the way around, and I'll see you here in a minute. Okay, so I have finished, and you can see how nice and poofy it now is. So the next thing we're gonna do, which we haven't done yet, is place the ribbon. So what I like to do, you can see back here, here are my crossbars. So I like to just do the inner crossbars. So I like to use my inner pipe cleaner. That's where I'm going to start. And every single crossbar on the inner, I'm going to put ribbon, okay? I'm not going to do that on the outer circle, so just keep that in mind. I'm only going to do every crossbar in the inner circle. So I like to do coordinating ribbon, and I think I'm going to do the orange with the spiders and the black with the orange and black stripe. So you're going to get 2 ribbon and you're going to place it over each other like this. You're going to bend it in half or kind of cinch it at the middle, and then you're going to use your pipe cleaner and just cross it there. Okay, I'm not going to cut the inner pipe cleaner just yet. I will in a minute. But what you're going to want to do is make sure to pull your ribbon apart so that it starts to pop out as you go along. So again, I'm just going to continue going along the inner ribbon and find each pipe cleaner along the inside, and I'm going to alternate my ribbon. I'm going to full cinch at the center of the ribbon and use my pipe cleaners to go across. As you see, as we're going along, you can see it starts to bring life to your already beautiful wreath, and you're just going to want to continue alternating along. So we are at 3. We still have 6 more outer rings to go. And you're just going to want to make sure you pull apart your ribbon so that they are across from each other. Okay. Got a few more to do. Just gonna go around until I'm done with the inner portion of my wreath. Okay, so I am finishing the last 2 sections of the inner ring. And one thing that you're gonna find, since there's 9 portions where you have your pipe cleaners, you're gonna see that if you if you go on alternating, that you're gonna have 2 of the same ribbons side by side because it is a odd number. So you'll see you'll have 2. What I like to do when I get to this part right here is I just actually choose and kind of mix up the pattern. So I'll choose the black one with the spider so that I at least don't have the exact same ribbon side by side and have somewhat of an alternating. So you can put your ribbon however you want. I always do the same pattern all the way around, but you can always mix and match them as you go along, and you can use more than 4 ribbons. You can do quite a bit more. So can you see the inner, how it's beginning to take shape? The next thing I'm going to want to do is the outer. So do you remember, so here are my 2 crossbars, one right here on the inside and one on the outer. Do you remember how we did one in the middle? I am actually going to only place the remaining ribbon in the middle. So maybe start somewhere a little different, maybe right here. So again, I'm only going to do, I'm not going to do the crossbars, I'm going to do the area in between the crossbars. So the spot where I had each ribbon in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and start with this ribbon first. And I'm going to go around and just on the outer ring, I'm going to only place ribbon on the pipe cleaner that is in between the 2 crossbar sections. That way my ribbon is alternating inner and outer. And I mean, if you really want to, you can do all of them, but it just depends on how much material you want to use. So I know that ribbon can get really expensive. So I just like to do, again, the in-between sections, in between the crossbars, the middle sections. So I am going to go all the way around and continue my pattern and pull apart my ribbon as I go around. So, all right. So I will be back as soon as I'm done. Okay, I am coming closer to the end of my outer circle where I've already gone all around. As you can see, the wreath is looking really big now, really festive. I have nice coordinating ribbon going all the way around, and I have 2 mismatched pieces left, but that's okay because again, I don't want the same ribbon coordinating side by side. So here is what we have. We're almost done, but we still have a few things we need to do. So you can kind of see how nice and fun that looks. It's really nice and big. You can stop here. If you're not going to use picks, you can move on to the next step. But I have some fun picks that I'm going to place probably, just kind of pick a spot where it's kind of alternating. Remember, you still have the crossbar pipe cleaners where you did not place ribbon. You can use that to put your picks there. So I'm just going to choose 4 spots along where I'm going to add these picks. I'm not going to need the whole piece, so I'm going to cut probably right there. You see that? So this is how much left I have, and I'm going to place it and use the pipe cleaners to wrap my pick so that it's coming up a little bit and not smashed into the wreath. And again, you're not going to break anything, so feel free to use it as is. And then when you're done, you can actually begin to start cutting whatever is left over the pipe cleaner with enough room so it doesn't come off of your ribbon. So I'm gonna find another spot. I'll probably go every 2 areas to put my picks. You can actually put a pick in every area. However, the picks do get really expensive. I believe these were $5 a piece. So it just depends on how much you want to spend. I do get them at Michael's, and right now I think they're on sale for 25% off. So it just depends on how much you want to spend. But again, you're just going to use your pipe cleaner that hasn't been used for ribbon on the outer area, the crossbars, and tie in your picks. As you can see, it's beginning to come out beautifully. So, every 2. All right. I'm almost done here. And then when you're done putting the picks in, you're just going to want to go around your wreath and tie all the excess ribbon, pipe cleaner. So I have one more pick to put in place. I want to make sure it's tight and secure. And it's kind of nice to use the pipe cleaner because it's actually really inexpensive. I think you can buy a whole pack for $1. So you can honestly use any color because it's not going to really show through. Sometimes I don't have matching colors that I'm using for my pipe cleaners, and it's okay because again, it's not going to show through. Alright. So my last pick that I'm going to use, again, I'm just kind of cutting because I'm not using it all. It's nice to have wire cutters. You probably can do it with scissors, but it's just going to be a lot harder. And the wire cutters just make it so much easier. If you're going to Michael's and buying any of the material, if it's not on sale, I believe they do have some coupons. It just depends on the day where you can use 25% off of regular price purchases. It does get kind of pricey. The materials get kind of pricey, so you want to make sure you're going through sales. You can do this with any type of wreath. As you can see, we're almost done. The only thing I have left to do is go around and cut off the excess inner of the pipe cleaners. I've seen some individuals or some crafting ladies leave it on. It is completely up to you. I personally like to get rid of the excess because I just don't want anything showing. If you're using matching colors for pipe cleaners, you probably don't need to because you actually cannot see the black in here. So I technically could leave it in. I've just always gone back and removed it. So that's what I'm doing. We are almost done. So I'm going to go ahead and go around and clip off all the excess pipe cleaners. Okay, I have gone around and clipped off all the excess pipe cleaners. The last thing I'm going to do is get my sign and place it somewhere in the middle. So how to do this, I'm going to skip a step only because I want to show you for the sake of time. But usually what you want to do is you want to get cable mounts. So I use cable mounts and I use E6000 glue. Now I find that E6000 glue and setting it 24 hours in advance really helps and let the zip ties stick and not fall off the actual sign. So you're going to want to put E6000. This does have adhesive on it, but you're going to want to use E6000 to go ahead and put in between your zip tie mount and the space of the sign that you're using. Now I'm not doing that right now, only for the sake of time, but I usually do it like 24 hours before and let it sit so that it sets in. You can do glue, use a glue gun, but I find that sometimes a glue gun doesn't work the best. So I am just placing it over here. I'm going to leave this on because I might not keep it for the wreath and might use it for something else. So As you can see, I have every single area, a zip tie in every single area. Okay, so again, I went ahead and fast forwarded. Just kind of did the quick, easy way for the sake of showing you. But you're gonna get zip ties if you have any, and I like to make them into one big one. So going to go ahead and get these through. You can buy these at Walmart really cheap, or even Home Depot. The zip tie mounts I actually got at Home Depot. So I'm going to do 2 for each zip tie mount, and I'm just going to go across the whole thing and place them in. So I might have to make them smaller as I go around, but you might want to just kind of have them big, and then you can kind of adjust them as you need to the closer you get to finishing. I like to have it big because you want to mount these to the wire wreath frame. And we are almost done. It took me about an hour and a half. This is a fun project to do with you and your girlfriend, so if everybody kind of goes and gets their own materials, you can all come together and work together. Maybe have like a little wreath making party. I know those are a lot of fun. All right, so I'm going to want to position it where I have my 2 picks in between them. I'm not sure if you can see, but I have the 2 picks in between. So I'm just going to, actually I'm going to change this where it's going side by side, not up and down. Okay, so I'm just going to, again, don't be afraid to move things, and I'm going to pull. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm basically going to pull the zip tie through the frame and connect it. So that is all I am doing. You don't have to like secure it tightly yet. Just continue going. Again, make sure you let your zip tie sit with some really secure glue, especially if you live in a hot area. You're going to want to make sure that that glue is on there pretty good and dries really good. So I am just using the frame to pull my zip ties through and securing it on the frame. So almost done here. And you can use the crossbars if you need to on the frame. They're there to help you measure and stuff, just depending where you want it. So I don't like to have mine too tight. I like to have it popped out a little. So just keep that in mind as you're placing it on, because you don't want it too tight where it's kind of smashing your ribbon. So I have it on. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the excess zip ties around. You can tighten it as you are working with it, but when you have it placed, it's okay if it's showing a little too, because you can block it with your ribbon. So there, everything is on. Now I am going to hang it and keep on messing with it. All right, everyone, there you have it, our completed Halloween wreath. So you can go around, fluff it up, do what you need to. I need to measure it to see how big it is, but it's definitely probably around 25 inches in diameter, I want to say. So happy crafting, and thank you for hanging out with me today.